in your history, and you're just like talking to a guy who's also German himself, like of German origin, and he just treats people like Xi with so much more respect and so much more reverence, which is understandable. That's worthwhile.
Absolutely, and I'm here, Mr. President, to talk with you later on.
I'm sorry, what is the title of this video? Germany's MERS responds when Trump says D-Day was not a pleasant day for you? Dude, stop. I don't care that Charlie is covering the Elon Musk drama. Why are you coming in here and being like, halt the presses? Moist Critical is covering politics again. Yeah, I know, because it's insane.
On how we could contribute to that goal. And we all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terror to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow. This is D-Day anniversary, when the Americans once ended in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant,
this was not a great
in
day.
The long run.
Yeah, dude, did you not see that? That's why I told you, don't you want to watch that Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor, visited the USA? He said, that's not a pleasant day, D-Day. We really stuck it to you.
Pleasant day for you?
No, that was not a pleasant.
This was not a great day.
In the long run, Mr. President, this was the liberation of my country from Nazi dictatorship.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
And we know what we owe you. But this is the reason why I'm saying that America is again in a very strong position to do something.
God damn it, dude. Have some respect, dude. God, what a schmuck. Yeah, thank God America invaded Germany. Yeah. Which technically D-Day isn't even Germany, but whatever. Thank God. What about the USSR, man? Maybe that's what he means. He's like, thank God you guys invaded and you guys came in from the western flank. Otherwise those Russians would have killed everyone.
On this and ending this. So let's talk about what we can do jointly, and we are ready to do what we can. And you know that we gave support to Ukraine, and that we are looking for more pressure on Russia. The European Union did, and we should talk about that.
We will talk about it, and
yeah.
You know, it's good timing. The numbers for our country are through the roof, the economic numbers. Because
are there German chatters in here? I want to hear something from you. We've seen a lot of world come and Jenny Fleck the Trump. Do you think less of your leadership when you see them have to take a knee and just basically suck Trump's dick when they all know he is a buffoon? Like, what's the attitude in general from other countries? Like, I can't get a good read on this. Are you guys leaving? All right. Thank you for everything. Once again. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys. All right. Perfect. Can I leak that? No? Okay. All right. Let me know when I can. All right. Merz is a wannabe Trump, so no surprises. No, I just like with the South Africans, like they were talking about how their leadership did like a decent job, all things considered. But that's South Africa, right? Like very different circumstance for South Africa. But if you're like Germany, or if you're France, or even the UK, like you have probably a different attitude about your own sovereignty, right? Where I feel like imagine getting big by a guy who you know is dumber than you and is like making ridiculous demands of you. And you just kind of have to nod along and give in to everything that they're asking for. You mean every single employee ever? I know. It is like every single employee ever, except these guys are not, like Trump is not their boss. They're supposed to be established. They're supposed to be like individual established states with a much longer history than the United States of America, for example. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, he does not treat these world leaders as peers, but simply like servile little piggies. Okay, not Germany, whatever. I'm not talking about just Germany, man. Like, there were people there for thousands of fucking years. There were barbaric. There were the barbaran. Like, there were tribal people that fucking fought against the goddamn Roman incursions. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand how you got all of that in your history, and you're just like talking to a guy who's also fucking German himself, like of German origin, and he just treats people like Xi with so much more respect and so much more reverence, which is understandable. That's worthwhile. But then he doesn't offer that same decency to you or your leaders. I guess the question I'm asking is, doesn't that make you realize that America kind of dominates the entire planet? Like it destroys the notion of like parity among nation states or even sovereignty that other countries have. Like, do you recognize the vassal status that you occupy as a European country? Or do your neighbors, do your parents, like, do they see that? There's even chatters right now that go, vassal status, ha ha ha, that is not real. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that to like dunk on European states. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that to make fun of you. I'm simply saying that because, like, on the one hand, European leadership believes and abides by supposedly this proud tradition of liberal democracy. But then they come face this fucking tyrant, and they literally they're so cucked, like they can't even fake it. At least previous administrations engaged in diplomacy and made it seem as though they weren't vassals. I don't get it. Because, like, we have been able to dupe everyone around the world into believing that they have a say in this process, and they're not just simply servants of America, with the exception of countries that America dominates and punishes for not being servants of America. And obviously, when you look at that deal, with only exceptions like China, which I guess technically were servants of capital for a decent period of time, most of the countries that are not servile to American interests get dominated and punished with ruthless force. And I guess my question is, like, does that not like make people feel a different type of way about America at all? Am I crazy?
Because of the election and because of tariffs and other things, a lot of things. But we've had some of the best.
Yeah, it sucks. Move on. Felt bad as a Norwegian Thor meeting. Didn't go over too bad. Fragile ass liberal chatters. He is asking, isn't it fucked up? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's fucked up. I guess I'm trying to figure out if, like, people will understand it, or are people close to understanding it, at least from your neighbors and from the people that you talk to. Like, do they see it at all, or are they, like, that's my question. Do they see it at all, or are they completely and utterly oblivious and think like, no, you don't understand. Like, you just got to pay the piper a little bit. You just got to entertain him a little bit, but ultimately we are sovereign. Because when America says you have to spend 4% to 5% of your GDP on weapons, and every single one of these countries has to jump after America said jump, remember, like, that's coming out of your pockets, okay? That's your output. That's your taxable revenue. That is, instead of going back to, like, social safety nets, that's going to American weapons, you know? Isn't that fucked up? Like, Europeans look to America and say, oh, these guys are so stupid. They don't even have health care. What are they doing? It's so barbaric, yeah. And not realize that, like, we got here because domestically we did the thing that we're making you do now, okay? Now we're making you do it. And you're a whole ass different country. You know what I mean? Like, you're a sovereign nation, dude. It's so fucked up. Stop the bullying. Time out the hate, okay? Time out the hate. You know, stop the hate. That's not what I'm not hating on everybody. I'm just saying, like, before this gets out of hand, you gotta fucking, I don't know, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake your neighbors up. Because if they don't, they're gonna keep on hating on fucking immigrants and shit, not realizing where it's coming from, not realizing where the austerity is coming from, not realizing why their living standards have gotten significantly and noticeably worse in the last couple of years.
Best numbers we've ever had. They were reported yesterday, the day before, and even today. Country's doing really well. I think that one of the things you'll be most interested in is that 6 months ago, we were having a hard time getting anybody to join our military. I mean, they just couldn't do it. The numbers were record low. We couldn't get people to join the military. It wasn't me. This was before I got there, the past administration. But 6 months ago, a year ago, the numbers were record low. You couldn't get them to join. That included the police. And you couldn't get them to join. Now, we just hit the highest number in the history of our country, we think, but very close, but the highest in the history of our country, recruitment, joining the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, police forces all over the country.
What did you do for that? What was the reason?
Spirit. They love our country again. Yeah. They do the same thing. Spirit.
Merz is like, what did you do? I would like to do the same, yeah. We need the armed forces now. Now that we are militarizing at an alarming rate, yeah, we need the armed forces as well. How did you do it? Well, you know, behind closed doors, maybe he'll tell you the truth. I don't even fucking know if Trump knows that this is the truth. But any intelligent person knows exactly why it happens. As material conditions worsen, the poverty draft as an opportunity to get all of the amenities that Germany offers on citizens. The only way to access said amenities is if you know, join the goddamn military. That's it. Yeah. Do more austerity, which is going to happen anyway, so you can fucking pay for the weapons that we're forcing you to buy. And then in the process of that austerity, so like all of the social safety nets that people took for granted go away. And then because it's something you have to pay for, do military service. Do military service.
We have great spirit is back in our country, and it's very simple. You know, it was only, Susie, 6 months ago, right, that you got reports, you're the one that released them, that you couldn't get anybody to join the military, and now we're stocked. Every service now is packed, and we have waiting lists of people trying to get in, as good as we've ever had in the history of our country. So that's an honor. That's a great honor.
Mr. President, on the war.
You've asked. You've had enough.